Imagine someone walks up to you and says, "Mathematics cannot even prove its own correctness." Your first reaction would probably be rejection, because mathematics is supposed to be the most solid, most reliable, most exact thing we have, right? Numbers don't lie. Equations don't fail. If something is proven, then it's true. Thinking that way feels safe. The person who smashed that feeling of safety was Gödel. Calling him just a mathematician is not enough. Gödel attacked humanity's hunger for certainty, shattered the story that reason can solve everything, and then slowly disappeared into the darkness of his own mind. Gödel's childhood was unusual from the start. Introverted, extremely sensitive, always questioning. His family called him the little professor because the questions in his head didn't look anything like those of other children. The world looked chaotic to him. Mathematics looked clean, ordered, and safe. He thought he had found his refuge in it. The irony is that years later, he discovered the crack was right there, inside the structure he thought was safest. The very thing he was running from, uncertainty, was sitting in the center of mathematics. As a young man in Vienna, he joined a circle of brilliant thinkers. The Vienna Circle believed in the absolute victory of reason. Science, they thought, would eventually answer every question. Truth was clear, measurable, and sooner or later, everything would be explained. Gödel listened quietly, but one question kept growing inside him. What if there are truths we can never prove? This wasn't just an academic question, it was existential. It meant this: no matter how hard we try, part of reality will always remain in the dark. In 1931, Gödel gave his answer. He published his incompleteness theorems and cracked the wall of mathematics. The result was this: every sufficiently strong mathematical system is either incomplete or inconsistent, and no system can prove its own consistency. Put simply, there will always be statements that are true, but can never be proven within the system. The dream of "we will know everything, we will prove everything" is an illusion. This didn't only shake mathematicians, it shook everyone who believes reason conquers all. His theorem whispered something uncomfortable. The certainty you hold on to is much more fragile than you think. Einstein entered Gödel's life as well. They walked together for years in Princeton. Einstein eventually admitted, "I now go to the office mainly for the privilege of walking home with Gödel." That sentence shows how seriously one genius took another. But the bright success others saw from the outside did not dissolve Gödel's inner darkness. If anything, the sharper his mind became, the more fragile he grew. His trust in the world faded, his thoughts became obsessions, and paranoia deepened. One of Gödel's greatest fears was being poisoned. He could not eat food prepared by anyone except his wife. This wasn't just eccentricity, it was the heavy price of a mind that would not stop thinking. When his wife became ill and could no longer care for him, Gödel stopped eating. The man who proved that mathematics is not a perfectly safe structure could not see his own body as a safe system. He eventually starved to death. His death certificate is brutally simple: malnutrition and starvation. The man who revealed the limits of thought could not find a way to live within his own limits. This story is not just the tragedy of a genius. It concerns us directly. We are addicted to the same things: clarity, guarantees, control. We hate uncertainty. We want straight answers. We want to say, "This is true," end of discussion. Gödel's message hits hardest right here. There is no total control, there is no total certainty. And accepting that is not easy. The more we run from uncertainty, the more fragile we become. The more we chase guarantees, the easier it is for us to break. Gödel's theorems are not just on paper, they explode in our minds. Gödel left us 3 raw truths. First, there is no perfect system. Not in mathematics, not in society, not in your life. Second, reason is powerful but limited. There is no final master key that solves everything. Third, truth has a price. Sometimes that price is your comfort. Sometimes your peace of mind. Sometimes much more. This is not a romantic mad genius story. It is a species addicted to certainty, confronting reality. So here's the real question for you. Which is more frightening, not knowing, or knowing that absolute knowledge is impossible? Gödel's story is not just a life, it is a map of the limits of thought. Sometimes the most honest sentence is, beyond this point, it is dark, and growth begins exactly there. If this journey interests you, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because here, we don't just tell stories, we explore the dark side of thinking together.